Lo fuimos. Aquí vamos. Lo fuimos. Aquí vamos. Vamos a escuchar la Cafecito Break. Vamos a escuchar la Cafecito Break.
It's time to listen to Cafecito Break.
Vamos a escuchar la Cafecito Break. Vamos a escuchar la Cafecito Break. Vamos a escuchar la Cafecito Break.
This means we are going to listen to Cafecito Break. Everyone out in the social media land that's seeing this little face and Cozy's little face, this is your time to tell, call a friend, tell the familia that we're on. Yeah, I wanted to start with a different theme song today because it seems like we are living in cuckoo land. I'm Rosangel Perez. Welcome to the New York Freedom Fighters podcast. I'm your host, Rosangel of Cafecito Break, and this show is hosted by yours truly, Cozy at Cozy's Wellness, and Mark for NY. Mark is unable to join us today, but we sent him a big love shout. He's on the road. Mi gente, if you appreciate us, you know that we are here as much as we can. Sorry for our absence. We had 2 weeks where we weren't here, and the only two reasons why we may not be present is if it's work related or family related. And in this case, it's been a little of both. So wherever you are tuning in from, thank you for patience and thank you for bearing with our little absence. But we hope that you missed us because we did miss you guys. Cozy, how are you today? It's good to see you. It feels like it's been months, even though it's just been 2 weeks.
Likewise, yes. Definitely missed the show. Keeping you guys up to date. But we have, some information for you guys. We have some news to spread, and we're gonna have a good show. So let people know.
Yeah, and I forgot. You see, 2 weeks and you forget how to even host the show. Today's topics are, we're going to talk about a couple of things. Mamdani's death attacks. For those who may or may not know, we are native New Yorkers. We did not vote for Mamdani, but we are boots on the ground. And we did and we tried last year as much as we could to warn the community members because we saw a couple of things. We saw that he had a great campaign and it felt like New Yorkers were favoring him. Not all New Yorkers, but the ones that voted for him now. Are some people having Mamdani regret? I'm not sure, but we're going to talk about his death attacks. We're going to talk about a little incident not too long ago that happened by Gracie Mansion, where, we'll get into that. We're going to speak about where is Netanyahu? And a couple of more things. Where is he? A couple more things, right?
Absolutely.
And also a father, you know that we are big on parental rights here and health advocates, medical freedom. And what I like to do is start today, start the show with this video. It's 3 minutes. The full video is on YouTube, Cafecito Break, and it's called A Father's Fight to Save His Daughter. Cozy, before I share it, is anything that you'd like to add, say to the family?
Yeah, no. Just let people just stay tuned because we have a lot of information. Rosangel is going to present something about flu vaccines, an update. This story right now, what she's about to show you, is very critical. We need you to get the word out. There is a father who is in a desperate situation. His kid has practically been kidnapped. His little baby kidnapped in a hospital. He has sole rights. You're going to hear all about it, but they're not letting him near his child. Okay, this is medical kidnapping, and we're tired of this. We've been dealing with this for years. We've been fighting against this for years. Here's another one. Please listen, and please send this out to everybody you know. They must be stopped.
Thank you, Cozy. I got chills. Yeah, mi gente, medical freedom and fighting for medical freedom does not begin with COVID or end with COVID. That was just a little part of the very unfortunate history. We are still living nightmares every day many people are taking their loved ones to the hospitals and experiencing all kinds of nightmares. And we are living in times when unfortunately each and every one of us need to become our best advocate, and sometimes without a moment's notice, a loved one's advocate, without any training wheels. So as we experience it, we can share with you. This is a story where every moment counts. This dad has not seen his little girl in over 60 days, and it is our understanding that she's in the hospital, intubated. All right, let's share the video.
You understand? It's like you guys want me.
Okay, hold on. Let me just bring it up big.
I have not seen her. You understand? It's like you guys want me to never see her again until the funeral.
This is criminal.
Hello, this is Etienne Aurelius Kinney, father of Maximiliano Laake Aurelius. Today's March 4th, 2026.
A father's fight for medical justice, recovery, and hope.
This message is being left to ensure the hospital has clear notice and an opportunity to address these issues before those files are fully initiated, which they basically are. My objective remains the same: ensuring my daughter's receives appropriate medical care and that her federally protected patient rights are respected. Please return my car as soon as possible. This message is being left to formally document a patient grievance and notice of regulatory concern regarding my daughter's care at Kapiolani Medical Center. Please ensure this message is entered into the hospital's official patient relations grievance record. All right. As of today, it has been approximately 58 days since January 5th that I have been removed from my daughter's bedside and excluded from participating in her medical care, which I have not seen her. You understand? It's like you guys want me to never see her again until the funeral while you guys just wait for her to die.
Every day across America, families are advocating and fighting for a loved one that is in hospital as staunch advocates of medical freedom and parental rights. We bring you this urgent report of a father's fight for medical justice, recovery, and hope. A dad trying to save his daughter. His name is Etienne. He is the father and sole legal, physical custodian of a beautiful daughter named Maximiliana. She's 2.5 years old, and she has suffered catastrophic abuse, and she's been hospitalized at a medical center in Honolulu. Instead of care and protection in the hospital, the father has encountered an unimaginable nightmare. Despite family court orders giving Etienne sole custody and all medical authority, the hospital has allowed her mother, who was under court restraint and under criminal investigation, to make life and death decisions for their daughter Max. Decisions that resulted in unlawful cancellation of a tracheotomy placement surgery that was recommended by her own doctors.
I will never, ever let this go. So I suggest you guys do the right thing, or I'm going to drag you and every single human being involved with my daughter's care into federal court on a named public basis. And I can promise you from this day forward, we will begin these proceedings. So do what's right now so it doesn't affect you later. That is not a threat. That is a federally promised mandate.
And he said mandate. The full video can be seen on Cafecito Break, on YouTube, and on Rumble as well. Thank you, everyone. Cozy, what are your thoughts?
It's absolutely disgusting. Like I said, I've been around these cases. I've personally helped a family in the past about 10 years ago. It's a similar situation where they were forcing their child, there's a 13-year-old child, to get chemotherapy when the child did not have cancer. He was already in remission, and the kid did not want the protocols, the cancer protocols, the chemotherapy. He was tired of the medicine. It was making him sick, and he didn't like the side effects. He was 13 years old, and he didn't want it. So he was fighting back. He said, I don't want it. There was a point where he was actually, pushing back on these nurses, like literally pushing them, like, get away from me. I don't want this medication. It makes me feel horrible. I do not currently have cancer. Leave me alone. The mother took him and, took him and fled to Florida. and then they were threatening them. It was a crazy story. Finally, fast forward, this child came back to New York because she was scared. They were like saying that they were going to bring her to prison if she didn't do it. They operate like a mafia. Okay, the medical system operates like a mafia, pharma medical complex. Okay, mafia. These are our children. These are people's children. You don't have the children's best interest. Okay, if a parent says no, it's no. If a child says no, it's no. My body, my choice. My child, my choice. These people are disgusting, greedy, uh, and a lot of times they're murderers. I will call them murderers. That's what they do. They will murder you. Fast forward, unfortunately, this child that I was talking about died, unfortunately, because they were giving him the chemotherapy by force after he was already in remission for over a year and a half. And these procedures, these medical interventions, literally killed this child. He was poisoned and radiated to death. So sad. So freaking sad.
Here we are in a situation where there may be time. There may be time to reverse whatever is happening with this little girl. She's 2.5 years old. Before, as I understand it, before there was an intubation, there were a doctor, a team of 4 doctors were recommending the tracheostomy, if I pronounced that correctly.
Mm-hmm.
But as we know, because we have dealt with this on many different levels, my family, we're dealing with this right now within the hospital system. There's a lot of tears, a lot of politics within the hospital system. There's also the monies. There's also insurances. As I understand it, in this case with this young father, Etienne, can you imagine? He's the sole legal custody. His wife, or his ex-wife, I'm not sure what the mother's, I'm sorry, I misspoke. The mother of the daughter, there is a restraint on her. So make that make sense. So the hospital, apparently, according to how I'm understanding this report, the hospital has been, or with the permission or the communication with the mother, is how this little girl is in this state where it led, okay, this is where she's at right now. But she is not the one to make, at this current state, the legal and responsible decisions. The father has been left out of this conversation. Over 60 days, he's calling and he's not even getting a response. Who is not going to feel completely like desperate? And something that you mentioned, Cozy, that we cannot be light about this, because the way the day is happening with parental rights, if you don't go with what the suggestion is, you actually might lose your kid, either in the hospital, or they'll take them away from you because you'll be deemed a bad parent, or CPS will have a reason to cite, oh, no, this is endangerment of a child. You don't have the child's safety in mind. We saw things like this happening, Cozy, if I'm not mistaken, with so many examples during the COVID times, where people who weren't vaccinated, for example, were treated in a certain way. And to this day, the way people want to care or not care for someone who is unvaccinated in a hospital that needs support. So why are we going to the hospital if we might get hijacked or lose our rights? Is this holistic care, or can we call it what it is? It's sick care. Now, I have to say, and I've said this before, nurses and support staff at the hospitals, you guys rock. Some of you are not that great. Some of you don't belong there, but that's for every industry, right? There's a couple of you that I could do away with, get to fabulous. Don't belong in any industry unless it's the industry that makes money, but whatever. I digress. But when it comes to the doctors and the way they communicate, I'll give you an example. When I was in the hospital with my mom, we are just getting the room. We're not even in the room in the hospital with my mom, not even 5 minutes. So let me paint you this setting. We've been waiting 4 days in the ER for a room. We finally got one. And the moment we go in, can you imagine how tired everybody is after 4 days of being in an emergency room? And not even 5 minutes, a case manager walks in because she's the numbers lady. And she wants to know everything. And there's no anything but just numbers. Well, what is she here for? How long you think she's gonna be here for? And what does she need? And blah 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 blah. I'm looking at I'm like at that moment, I'm like, what kind of world am I in? But of course, no one is surprised. No one is surprised. But the thing is, mi gente, a lot of times we don't think about these stories nobody really wants to talk about until we're in the situation. Now, years ago, 6 years ago, many of us, these two individuals included in front of you, we lost our livelihoods. We lost our friends and our colleagues. We lost so much. Our reputations, a lot of financial opportunities, because we did one thing. We did, we said no to everyone who told us to shut up, because we knew what we were understanding about vaccines and the media psyops and the political collusion. But most of the community got confused. They believed the media, they believed the politicians, and they shot their friends. And some of us are still trying to recover to this day, but we would do it all over again. And here we are saying the same thing. We got to pay attention to the battleground, which is the hospital. How many of us now, because we know someone who took the shot or multiple shots, are having to go in and in again and time again to the hospital? My little group alone, we've lost like 20 people. Does that not seem a little bit alarming in 6 years? I'm not saying it was all due to the COVID shot, but still 20 people in 6 years that are related to you is a little crazy. I'm going to include close friends that you grew up with as related to me. That's a little crazy. I'm pretty sure I'm undershooting the number. So when are we going to wake up from whatever is catching our entertainment or our bochinche this time to really face that this is our everyday life, guys? We're
How
fighting
many
about
people?
bullshit, but
How
this is
many?
our lives right now.
Yeah, how many questions are you out there? Just think to yourself, right? How many people do you know of the age from 20 to 40 that dropped dead of a heart attack, stroke, blood clot? People, I'm telling you now, that is not normal. That is not a normal death, not a natural death. If you died of a heart attack at 20, that doesn't happen. That never happened in history. That's so rare to happen. A 20-year-old to die was poisoned, 30 poisoned, 40 most likely poisoned. You normally don't get a heart attack before 40, right? It takes years of damage, years of bad eating, years of stress for that to happen to you. Okay? I was in the medical field. I can tell you. I know what causes heart attacks. I know the lifestyle, the food, the stress, the not sleeping. There's a lot of factors. But if you're going to, it doesn't hit you till you're in your 50s usually, right? Bad eating, bad lifestyle reaches up to you around 50. That's when you start breaking apart, right? Under 40, I cannot believe it. I will not believe it because I know the body. I know it well. I know how it operates. I know how it falls apart. It takes years of damage. It's not overnight. So a 20-year-old drops dead of a heart attack. It's not just a fluke. That means the child was poisoned. And when I mean poisoned, I mean injection.
And cancers, right? So many things, so many cancers have erupted in people. And like, you look at bricks, I do not feel a sense in any, and I don't think any of us who lost so much trying to tell people and warn people, none of us feel good about what we're seeing. None of us feel good about our human family suffering. I have friends that are always sick now, and family members. I don't bring it up to their face that maybe your household keeps getting sick because of a decision that was made. I'm not, our goal here is not that. Our goal here is to say, hey, we're also connected to a lot of doctors and wellness humans that are doing things because we need to, for the betterment of everybody, even our own selves. We need to be looking into just doing more holistic things and introducing more holistic things. I got a little red light therapy. I'd be showing up with it, and my mom is cranky because she doesn't understand why I'm blasting her with some red light. But I'm like, no, she's not leaving outside. She's feeling pale. She's having trouble walking. I'm gonna be that medicine woman. I'm just gonna not gonna talk about it and just sit here like, red light is the thing to do. And then I have the machine and not go out there and support loved ones who might benefit from it. That's the time we're in right now. Share your wisdom with, or your healing tools with others. A lot of people who tapped in, who are there's nutritionists out there. There are people who are doing Reiki. There are people who are doing meditation. There's a deep need for these tools too. Mind, body, soul, wellness. To be a more fortified family, because hey, what's coming and what we're going to even continue to talk about, if we don't have a little bit of balance, a holistic balance in your life, or things that help you, fortify ground, how are you going to integrate even something like the Epstein files, which we really haven't delved into yet because it's so huge? Because we understand that there's layers of the way information hits, and people are going to get to their enchochamiento point. Excuse me for that really bad word. My mother would have smacked me right now across the face for being so disrespectful. Fwah! No, but people are going to get enchochao real soon, which means when they have it up to here. And so what I'm saying is, let's get enchochao and use that rage, but in the right direction. Not just be angry at some random person and use that fuapate, and then all of a sudden you throw your loved one across the street just because they were there. But let's use it to maybe do an ad campaign, to do something. Everybody can do something. But I digress.
My message to the father, out there in Hawaii, get a massive protest outside that hospital. If you need us to get the word out, we will get the word out. We will make sure you have thousands of people out there. That's what needs to happen. We need to embarrass this hospital. We need to put the spotlight on this hospital, because when the spotlight happens and the news comes, if the news comes, but we put the spotlight and the people see it, they're going to bow down. They're going to back down. They're going to say, oh, here's your child. There's not enough spotlight on this. Get the spotlight on this hospital. What are we waiting for?
This hospital is in Honolulu.
And I'm hearing Hawaii is notorious for medical kidnapping, organ harvesting. I'm hearing the horror stories. So Hawaii, wake up, get involved, help this father out. We will get the word out. Don't worry.
Thank you. And people, please share. Feel free to share that 3-minute video. We also have it on Cafecito Break. Other people have been, sharing the actual video and posting it on their feeds. Let's try to get the word out. This also will encourage more people, like, to be advocates, like something that I've noticed as my sister and I have been going through, this hell advocating for our mother and everything that happens within the hospital system, is that most people don't have advocates or don't understand that they can advocate for their loved one in a hospital, or they can push back, or they could question, or they can be like, why are you giving this person this medication for? What is it? And we don't see a lot of that pushback. And unfortunately, because information and decisions are happening so quickly, so are life and death decisions happening so quickly. So it sucks because it feels like you have another full-time job when your loved one needs your support in that way. But the way my sister and I look at it is, when we were tiny little helpless babies, my mom did that for us. And this is sort of like when we need to be present for her when she needs us and our strength. So for all of you who might be going through something similar, where you're doing a lot of caretaking of somebody in your life, we know it's not easy. Take a deep breath. Make sure that you feed yourself, treat yourself, even if it's 5 minutes, so that you can fortify and keep on going, and know that you're also doing God's work by being present for someone in their hour of need.
Absolutely. It's the circle of life. Like you said, they pampered you when you were little, and now it's time for you to pamper them. And that's a fulfilled life. When a balanced life is, you make that cycle happen. And also friends, family. It's great to help people. You know, it's something you all should do. We all should do. But anyway, next topic.
The
Outbreak
flu
was bad
vaccine.
this year, and it might be because the vaccines didn't really.
Hold on a second. Let's listen to that together as a little family. The topic here is the flu vaccine. And what a surprise.
The flu outbreak was bad this year, and it might be because the vaccines didn't really work.
The CDC says the vaccine had one of the worst effectiveness rates in more than a decade, only working about 25% of the time. A new strain dominated the early winter months and was not well matched to the vaccine itself. That, along with a lower vaccination rate, caused early flu numbers to spike. But the good news is, CDC data shows doctors' office and hospital visits for flu symptoms is now on the decline.
That's my favorite subject of all. And I laugh every time I hear this. So, what I want to say, because I was in this medical field and they used to harass me all the time, get your flu shot, get your flu shot. They used to harass me and follow me down the hallway, chase me down. Crazy nurses, unscientific nurses that I exposed and got fired. Listen up carefully. They act like, oh, it's just this season. It just didn't match. The flu shot will never match because viruses, if we believe in viruses, they mutate. So by the time you get the strain, it's already evolved. It's already last year's flu. You're never going to match it. Matter of fact, it's not just 20% like they're saying. That's fake news, fake data. I've looked at every single flu vaccine study every year, all the way back to 1967. I've done a deep dive, and the largest independent vaccine study known to man by the Cochrane Group. Back then, it was an independent. Right now, it's still independent, but it's kind of questionable, the people who are funding it. But anyway, I digress. The point is, when they were doing this from 1967 to 2015, they looked at every single flu vaccine study. And you know what they came up with? This is an independent, well-respected, well-regarded Cochrane Group. They found out that it was only 0.1%. I'm sorry, 1% effective. 1% effective. Get it through your hard-headed pharmaceutical ears, you pharmaceutical pigs. It's 1% effective. It will never be effective because the flu shot will never effing work. and I'm going to keep saying it every year. Every time they say, go get your flu shot, I'm going to say to you, it's 1% effective. You dumb nurses out there, you should be ashamed of yourself. Learn how to read a study, learn how to access information. Because if you did access information and you didn't just follow orders, you would know that this thing is poison and it doesn't work. Has it ever worked? And then when it doesn't work and they still get the flu, you know what they say? Oh, I just didn't get it early enough. Or they say, oh, it could have been much worse. I could have died, but this saved me. No, it didn't save you. No, you didn't almost die. You were poisoned and the shit doesn't work. If I went to, uh, let's say I went to a car mechanic, right? Every year. And they told me, they say they try to fix it, but they said, you know what? Or they're only effective 1% of the time. 1% of the time. Or let's say 20% of the time. Would you go back to them? Would you go back to them? Would you fly in an airplane that told you that 20% of the time it's going to work only? What other profession do we give such leniency? What other profession do we allow this kind of error? 20%, and that they're lying about 20%, but let's just give them the benefit of the doubt. If I told you this airplane's only going to land 20% of the time, would you take that flight? Why are we allowing people to inject things into our bodies or medicine that's only 20% effective? Something is wrong with your brains. Fire your doctor, fire your nurse, fire this healthcare system, which I call hellcare system, because it's nothing but poison. They can't help you. They can't even help themselves. They're walking zombies.
Now you just triggered another tantrum in me. How dare you? How
That's
dare
what
you?
I do. I trigger
No,
tantrums.
but listen, I have to say that my sister and I might come up with 100 things we don't like about the hospital.
Okay,
A
let me correct
thousand.
myself. Let me correct myself. All right, clarify. Yes, there is a time and place for the medical system. If you get hit by a car, you're not going to go to a freaking witch doctor. You're not going to go to a herbal person, a shaman. You're not going to go there. You're going to want a medical doctor to go and fix your bones, you know, recover
Emergency
yourself.
care.
If you need blood, whatever. Emergency care, they're amazing. I'll clap for them. Emergency care, they're freaking awesome. Great technology. They can save your fucking life. But when it comes to health, when it comes to diabetes, when it comes to heart disease, when it comes to neurological stuff, when it comes to autoimmune disease, when it comes to any chronic disease, even allergies, run away from the doctor. Run as far away from the doctor as possible because they're going to make you sicker and they're going to fucking kill you. Dermatologist is the worst. They're the dumbest out of all. We know what they're going to do. Oh, you have a rash? Here, take a anti-inflammatory cream. Just rub it on.
And then you have a higher irritation and you don't understand why you have, oh, look, guys, I did not kick Cozy out. He must have irritated the social media gods, maybe the YouTube or X, maybe they didn't like. If I had to guess, X is more lenient to this conversation. YouTube is not. So maybe Cozy got kicked out because he was putting down the line. But I digress. To circle into something that Cozy was saying, and I think that's my other gripe in the hospital setting, when you're advocating for a loved one and you see that doctors are moving so fast that they don't seem to be communicating well and effectively enough. And thank God that my sister and I are Maha grassroots trained, because we were able to spot all of the tremendo bullshit, and we were like, no, 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 no. You said this. No, 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 no. We said that. And we had to check people. We did it, and we did it professionally. But we did know that and noticed that some people in the hospital, some of the staff, they suffer from complacency. And to me, my heavens on earth, that is also very scary to my heart when I see complacency demonstrated in so many areas of the workforce. I don't know. I'm seeing that Cozy's been trying to pop in and out, so hopefully he'll be able. Maybe he's having connection issues, but he's here. Complacency. People are suffering from complacency, and I don't know. Maybe I got so upset that I by mistake kicked Cozy out, or maybe he triggered YouTube. I don't know. What do you think happened?
Well, I know what happened. My battery died on my laptop. It wasn't pharma, but it was funny the timing.
Well, I still came up with a conspiracy theory, and I was wrong, community members. I was wrong. I thought you pissed off YouTube for your rant. But what I was saying is that something that is also concerning to me is the complacency. And I'll give you an example. There was a young nurse. This is one of the nurses that would not have made Rosita's cut in the job situation. I'm like, we got to make some cuts here. Sorry, mama, you got to go. This would be the nurse to go. This lady was telling me, oh no, Cozy left again. This young nurse that I would have fired was telling me that I shouldn't expect things from the hospital, that I should just sort of just be quiet, be patient, wait my turn, and wait for the doctors to figure it out, which sounds great if people communicate effectively, but that's not what I'm seeing. And as a professional visitor of hospitals for 20 years plus, I can tell you, I can make a lot of suggestions as to what I wish could be better in a hospital setting, starting by the people that greet you when you walk in at the informational. I understand that they might not be dealing with the best of New Yorkers. It is, after all, a hospital setting, but it's still a hospital. To be greeted with attitude, like if I'm about to get some fight and we're gonna take it outside, should not be the place where, that happens. That should be someone who, can be tough if they need to, but should be warm. You're coming into contact with people who might be in the most vulnerable state of their lives. And the first person that they see might be the only friendly, kind face that they may experience throughout that whole time when they're going through nightmare with their family. And I say that from experience because my sister and I had the blessing when our mom was in the hospital for 2.5 months and we felt like we were staff at the hospital there. We got a friendly person that was warm, that asked questions, that smiled, and, brief little interactions, but those little smiles, the acknowledgement, those human to human moments, they go a long way, and they carry a person, especially when the person has no other sustenance because they're in a, let's say, caretaker position. A lot of people, parents, for example, moms and dads who are in a very heavy caretaker role, they may feel like this. So if anybody out there wants to surprise somebody who's in a very heavy caretaker role, besides flowers, I recommend something holistic. Treat that person to a massage, spa day, Reiki, whatever they may like, obviously within their scope of things that they accept. But we unfortunately are not living in times, when we talk about this moment where, the Great Awakening 2020, what does that mean? The Great Awakening 2020 vision that we're seeing with clearer eyes, right? And in many ways, when you look back, 2020, things started to come undone, and, life grounded us, humanity. In many ways, people were able to in many ways, people slowed down enough, even though they were forced to slow down, and they were able to re-examine their lives. How am I living in my home? Do I even like my partner? A lot of people broke up during COVID, but there were also, on the flip side, people that hooked up during COVID. We definitely got some COVID babies. It was perfect time to slow down and have some love action. Guess why we don't talk or see enough about, we don't see and talk enough about love. And we need to, and we must, because love is the most important essence on this planet. And a lot of us have practiced all of the other emotions pretty freaking amazing. And I think that it'd be helpful to start expanding your horizons and practice the other ones. They may feel uncomfortable, right? Like just practicing locking eyes with someone a little deeper, not in a way where the person thinks that you're flirting with them and you want to take them, to a situation, but just, I acknowledge your presence. I acknowledge your humanity. That goes a long way. How many people, that's an opportunity, for example, when you go shopping, you see a person, everybody's like, yeah, here. Like, people are not even looking at each other. Say hello. Like, those little human to human moments in a landscape that keeps promoting that we stay inside, that we communicate screen to screen, believe it or not, they add a little bit of love to your day, and they carry you through those times where you need a little bit of that love vibe, and that can go and get redirected your way. I'm going to, I hope Cozy's able to connect again. I kind of see him. Cozy's in the back. I promise you guys, it did not kick him out. It didn't kick him out, even though Mark would probably be laughing, suggesting that I did. Hey.
I am back. Can you see me?
I can see you and I can hear you.
A million things just opened up, a million windows. So what happened was my battery had died. It's on 5%, but then it forced me to do an update, and it was like taking forever to update. So that's my story. And I'm back, and we're going to talk about, what did I jump into? Should I start a new topic? I don't know what you were talking about.
We were going to talk about the other video that happened a short time ago with Mayor Mamdani.
Perfect timing.
I called this video, Mamdani failed to condemn the terrorism in New York.
The terrorists.
The terrorists and the terrorism in New York.
The dirty terrorists.
Right. Do you guys know about that? Because do you know, I've been polling some community members in the streets, and no. I was like, do you know that there was like, nobody, a lot of people do not know. They missed the story. So let's refresh their minds. I'm going to play the video because I was talking a little bit too much. And I know that there's a lot going on in this world, but mi gente, we need to pay attention to what's happening in New York.
And then tell everyone else. Yep, that's me. You're probably wondering how I ended up in this situation.
Flashback.
You don't live in New York. You're coming to New York to tell people who belongs in New York and who doesn't belong in New York. We were born and raised in New York, and we want everyone here to stay in New York. You don't get to come from outside and then tell everyone else.
First, what I would like to say is that people like Jake Lang that came out of nowhere and showed up fighting and being a part of a protest, it's people like him that make it worse for those of us in New York City, boots on the ground, that are trying to highlight all the wrongs with leadership here in the city, socialism, and even some of these things that Mayor Mamdani and his team are supporting. So that's number one. We do not support this dude. Number two is that in this example, all New Yorkers need to pay attention that there was an act of terrorism that actually happened. There was a makeshift bomb. It was not a pretend bomb. Thankfully for everyone that was nearby, nothing exploded. But we could have been speaking and sharing a different story today. What does that mean for fellow New Yorkers? It means do not take the moment or anything for granted, any of your travel as you're moving to and from. Do not believe mainstream media or just talking points. People even like Mayor Mamdani, who made a statement days later, disavowed Jake Lang and called him a white supremacist, which I have questions about, but he didn't disavow or point out the act of terrorism committed by two people who said that they were doing it in the name of ISIS. So, ojo pendiente, ojo pendiente, ojo pendiente. That was a little dramatic, but sometimes you gotta be.
Nothing dramatic about it. You know, I totally agree. Listen, number one, Zoran Mamdani, shame on you, you piece of crap. He knows what he did. Yes, I agree what he said, the protest, I get it. You know, I'm not for that. I don't condone when people are, you know, against religions, okay? So like I just want to make that clear. If you're going to attend a rally that's anti-Islamic, what do you think's going to happen? Do you think like these are religious? A lot of them are fanatics. A lot of them are religious fanatics. What do you think they're going to do when you show up with a pig? When you show up with a goat? Like it's fucked up. Like honestly, like don't taunt these people. Just like you wouldn't like to be taunt if you had a religion that you practiced, right? You don't show up with a pig. You don't show up with like it just shows hate and it's only going to bring that type of energy to you. Okay? I'm not obviously what they did was horrific. It's disgusting, and Zoran should have called them out for what they were. He did say it's apprehensible, but he didn't say that they were terrorists. He didn't say the word until after 48 hours when he finally said it because he got pressure from the people, just like with the cops and the snowball, where he's mocking the cops. He's like, respect the officers. If anybody's going to get a snowball, it's me. Like he's the big man. Like that puny little bitch is the real man. You're not a man. The cops are the ones that are sticking up for people in the city. They're protecting people. You're not protecting anybody. In fact, you're endangering people by your rhetoric and your words. Call them out for what they are. Yes, they are terrorists. But I think he didn't want to say terrorists because they happen to be part of his religion. I don't like to focus on religion, but the facts are they are your religion, Mr. Zoran, and they're associated with terrorism because of what they did. I'm not saying Muslims are terrorists. What I'm saying is those two young men, those were terrorists, and that's what you should call out. You don't have to say the religion, but you should say these young men were terrorists and that was terrorism. But you refused to say it. You waited. And I'm not, you know, this is disgusting. And this is why things are going to get much worse here because we have a mayor that does not stick up for New Yorkers. He wants his communist agenda. He wants to make sure that he's PC about talking about certain things. Okay, I have a problem with that. Okay, shout out to Jesus AOK News. He was right there. This terrorist jumped pretty much right over him. Thank God he's okay. Thank God people that I know that were there are okay. Thank God this thing didn't detonate because they were too stupid and didn't know how to put this together correctly. Thank God. They look pretty retarded themselves. They look like they were just brainwashed in a room. Maybe this was a intelligence operation. I don't know, but they look like they came out of a closet. They haven't seen humans. He jumps and says Allah Akbar and throws a bomb. This is insane, people. That's why I'm telling you guys, stop showing up to these things. I warned people that I know. I said it before it happened. I said, do not show up to these protests because only bad things can happen. And bad things did happen. Stop showing up because they're going to set people up, they're going to do false flags, or they're going to actually do something. Stay far away from these religious wars.
Yeah. It's tempting because, you know, we have friends who are independent reporters, so they want to cover different events in the city. And there are some that I hear you. I did not want to go to that one because I'm like, you know what? I don't want to. First of all, there's so many things wrong with just living in New York City that type of demonstration just is a distraction from what the real issues are. All they do is become inflammatory points, which is why Whoever this dude Jake Lang is, he's not a New Yorker. It's like
That's
some
awesome.
people do come, as you know, from other states. We do get influencers who come. I'm not calling him an influencer, but you do get people who come from other states when something's hot and popping here in New York City, just so that they can create more content. I've seen them with my own eyes. They'll go and go to where people are just loud, and just so they could get the content that looks the most outrageous so that they can go viral. Fine, but what are you telling me with that story? You're pointing out that someone has had a meltdown? How can we use the time that we're all there to tell better stories? This is my main gripe.
And what
Especially
is your goal?
people
What
who
is your
have such
goal?
great big fucking platforms. All you do, and then you leave, and they're like, New Yorkers, this is what you got because you voted for it. No, because what you guys are doing is that you're helping to water down all of the efforts that are done here by the small, tiny group that hardly gets along, but at least we find commonality because we are in the common sense kind of group. Not all of us are all there who is in this type of insane life that we're living. But you have somebody who is out of state coming to for what? That doesn't even smell like it could be anything good. And thank freaking goodness that people that we know did not get hurt, because there were people, multiple people present in that protest covering it for their channels that were close, feet away. If this thing would have detonated, the young guys, when they were interviewed, if I'm not mistaken, they said that they wanted this to be bigger than what happened in the Boston Marathon. Can you imagine that? So yeah, maybe they're 18. Do not discount the fact that they're young. A lot of young people are committing really alarming crimes right now. We even have groups, that have infiltrated malls and supermarkets in different locations in the city. It's a separate story, but my point to you guys is, if you live in New York City, look around. If you're in a subway system, look around. Don't have anything flashy. If you see me, I almost look like a bum. I'm not trying to look like I'm walking with anything at any point. I'm not trying to catch anybody's attention. The desperation in the streets is crazy right now. Now, before we move on to anything else, with this story that we just have that we just covered, there have been other incidences that happened after, where police were called to the scene to investigate reports of suspicious packages. Today, for example, I passed by a bridge and there was NYPD randomly pulling people over and checking them. Come on, why do you think that is? There's reports that there could be sleeper cells all over. Right now, there's wars just everywhere. Right now, we don't even know, like what we said, where is Netanyahu? Do you see that we can talk about so many different things and drive ourselves crazy? With what? What does this information do for us? What do we do with it?
I personally don't care where the hell he is. So, listen, people, what you said is key. Like, what it has happened in the last 2 weeks, ever since this strike happened, right? This Iran strike. Obviously, they're going to retaliate, right? Obviously, there's people in this country, millions, like millions upon millions of people in this country who are fanatic, who are ready to harm us. And whether it's justified or not, they're angry, okay? And they're going to harm people. That's what they do. We have already seen it. Within the first week of these strikes, we've seen at least 3 incidents, maybe 4 incidences. These New York kids. We have the just a few days ago in the synagogue, right? Michigan. And then there was a university, right? And then there was some incident on the plane, which I'm not too sure about the facts about that. But already we have 3 or 4 incidences. There's going to be more. There's going to be false flags. There's going to be cyber attacks. They're coming, people. They're coming. And whether they're going to be real cyber attacks or false flag cyber attacks, that's what they've been planning and training us for. I keep hearing it every few months. Cyber attack, cyber attack, cyber attack. You know what's going to happen? A cyber attack. Just like when the pandemic happened, they were teasing us with it. I see the stories. I've been through these cycles time and time again. I've been studying how the media works. I've been studying how media and government work hand in hand. I've been seeing simulations, and I know how these people think. I'm not a psychic, I'm not a prophet, but I know how to pay attention to details, and I know how to pay attention to media. Okay? Just like Rosangel was in media, I have a background in that as well. And I know how these people move. I know how organizations fund, super PACs funded, people different things, how people fund movements. Okay? Movements don't just show up. When you see a grassroots thing and you see it's not grassroots. People, it's ultra rare, almost impossible for a true grassroots movement to spark out of a human being. It usually comes with millions and billions of dollars behind these movements. Like Zoran Mamdani, for instance. People think he's a man of the people. He came out of nowhere. He came from the gutters of the earth and he became the mayor. That's not what happened. Barack Obama didn't just show up and work hard and get where he wanted. These are groomed people. There's money behind movements. Nothing is just natural and nothing is like that. You're not going to become president unless you sleep around with these people and you get dirty with these people. There's no
Yeah,
superheroes.
there's
Nobody's
something
gonna
that
save
gets
you.
lost.
I just want to say there's nobody going to come to save you. We got to save ourselves. And what I'm trying to say is watch your backs, look left and right, and be cautious about where you go. If you're attending rallies and protests where there's hatred and anger, uh, the powers that be want you to be there. They want total division. They want mass division. They want concentrated division so they can have a reason for many things, whether it's a false flag, whether it's civil war, whether it's more division, all of that. Because that's how they keep in business. That's how they make their money. They want two sides hating each other. Just remember that, people. We are people. We're supposed to love each other. We're supposed to take care of our families. Most of us will agree on most things. It's the media who makes us hate each other. It's politics that make us hate each other. But at the end of the day, we all have the same biology. We all have a spirit. We all have blood running through us. And we all came from the same place. Don't let them fool you.
And Robert says the event with the makeshift bomb and people being outnumbered and attacked. So we did forget to mention that part. The protest that Jake Lang was a part of was, from what I understand, it was a very small group of people that showed up. The counter protest, and in the chat, was it double or triple what the number of the people who were saying I'm gonna hold this event were outnumbered, I believe 3-1, if I'm not mistaken, by counter protesters that showed up. And to add to the tremendo bullshit and the media, mainstream media misreporting, when they reported it, they threw the word white supremacist and then a makeshift bomb directed at Gracie Mansion. And it wasn't directed at Mamdani at all. It was directed towards the people holding
That is true.
the protest. And look, as Cozy and I have indicated, this protest, whatever the theme was, is not anything I would ever support. But as Mamdani, our mayor, says, people do have the right to protest. We do believe in freedom of speech. Now, what we do with our freedoms of speech and expression sometimes can yield consequences. For example, one that we shared when it was the COVID days, when everybody was being told to wear a mask, COVID inspired some mask, tyranny, people who were just mask tyranny folks. And they wanted to go around telling everyone, you're not wearing a mask, even if they're walking outside. And one woman in New York got close to another woman in New York and was just like, Miss, you walking around here, you're not wearing a mask. You know what that woman did? Punched her. Shut the fuck up, bitch.
Yeah. I mean, I've had tons of incidences where I'm on the train, and there was one instance where 5 people surrounded me, were trying to intimidate me into wearing a mask. And it didn't end up well for them, I can tell you that.
Yeah.
Didn't end well for them because they don't expect what cozy is. So
cozy.
They just realized,
Is
like,
a
oh
cozy.
shit, I messed with the wrong guy. I went absolutely
with the wrong
bananas
person.
on him. So
Yeah, no,
but
I mean,
there is consequences, and that's a consequence I was willing to take for my freedom. Yes, I was willing to risk it all. I risked my job. I risked everything for what I believe. No, you're not going to muzzle me. It's not going to happen.
and
But you're right. There's
and to this day, because goodness is another topic that irritates my little Ariesness. When people would ask me, why are you making such a big deal and you don't want to wear a mask? I have to say that I have practiced a lot of oming during those days because I'm like, for the most, maybe, and I don't know, maybe, being a holistic coach or doing yoga trainings, they focus so much on the breath that just became ingrained in me. But why would I deny my connection to my source, my Holy Father, my God? Why? Who?
life.
Right. Like, and then the way I would look at it is, unless your God himself telling me that I need to wear a mask for my protection, there is no man, woman, no relative, no anyone that may have a proximity to me that can ever tell me to wear a mask. I will get arrested for that. And I came close to, security was called on me a few times. I got stalked a couple of times in Whole Foods and Trader Joe's. And I remember the first couple of times it happened, you get scared. The third time I was like, call who you need to call. Call the cops. I'm going to continue shopping. You stop irritating me. And social distance.
They were trying to kick me out of a pizzeria once. I walked in and got the food, and I sat down. He's like, sir, you need to put a mask on. He's like, you need to show me your vaccine passport. And I just looked at him and just kept eating my slice of pizza. And I kept eating. And then I told him, listen, I said, by the time you're finished, done, like, go call the cops if you need, but I'm going to be done with my pizza in like 2 minutes. And by the time you call them, I'll be out. So just fuck off.
Like, and you eat it with
Fuck
so
off.
much joy. I remember
eating it, and he was panicking.
Cozy, I remember going to this restaurant that has a complete outdoor portion. And we still, so can you imagine the ridiculousness? This restaurant has an outdoor portion that, let's just say, it's a parking lot that got converted into some seats. That's their outdoor portion. So we're waiting by what used to be the driveway. Can we go in? Oh, but wait. In order for us to just pass by the waiter, we had to put our masks on.
What about
while
those
still being
bughouses?
outside. But and this is the thing. I could understand that people did it out inside, but no, we had to pretend and wear our little masks. We're still all outside. There hasn't been an indoor situation. It's just we've just passed the waiter. And then if God forbid we wanted to go and get something and go to the bathroom, we had to get up and put our mask again. I tried to get away with it, of course, and I got in trouble.
Why did people
And I
follow
started
you
having
going?
a tantrum. I was like, you seriously want me to make pretend? So then I took the mask and I was like, look at me. No one can see. The COVID's not going to get me as I walk out.
Do you remember the arrows on the floor telling you where to walk? Like, walk this way. Step
Right?
here,
Like in
stand
Whole
here.
Foods, you couldn't go like this anymore. They just had like one-way
Wait,
traffic.
fuck out of here. I was going backwards on purpose. I was doing
Yeah.
everything opposite just to piss people off. Don't tell us what to do. I can't believe you morons followed their instructions to a T. Literally, there was people standing on the circles. I would purposely
Yeah.
step out of the circles. I would purposely step around the arrows, go backwards, just to fucking make
Cece,
people
you're
nervous.
such a rule breaker, my
It's not.
God.
It's just that. Like, what are you telling me? What are you
My
telling
thing
me?
is like, look, like, and I've said this before. I was like, people, people in New York, especially, they're not really forthcoming with things. You're not really gonna get a free flower from someone just because. People are not really gonna buy you or give you a free coffee, just whatever. They're not gonna give you little gifts. But my freaking goodness, to the freaking power, was everybody offering me a mask, or if they were offering me a mask during that time, they were offering me how to wear it appropriately, tips, unsolicitedly. So I don't know what drove me nuts the most. Like, even when I was in the train, I remember a gentleman really concerned for myself, my health and safety, and my price tag. My bank account was like, Miss, they're gonna fine you if they see you not wearing your mask. Put it up right now. I looked at him like he was nuts. I said, I'll take my chances. Thank you very much.
How about this lady? I was on the train and she was going like this to me. She was gesturing this. She was like, and she was like, put it on. And I'm looking at her. She's like, put a mask on. And I'm like, do you have Tourette syndrome? What's going on here? I went like that. And she's like, fuck you. Put a mask on. You're endangering us. And then I just started laughing. I'm like, you're psychotic. Woman, you're psychotic. With fucking
My
Tourette
last
syndrome.
mask story that I will share, and maybe I need to look for these, is that you okay?
Yeah.
Join whenever we were told that we needed to wear masks inside, I'd go into the store and take a picture maskless. Be like, Whole Foods, I'm by the flower. Trader Joe's. Look, how many people got married with masks on?
Wow.
There are
Disgusting.
wedding photos that you look like it was the puppet years,
And
so
prom.
sad. This is one of the clues that I knew this was tremendo bullshit, because as a member of the media, Cozy, being being a member of the media during the COVID years came with privileges, which meant that since I have to interview and I'm holding a microphone, I didn't have to wear a mask. If you really think about it. And I don't know why that was like an exception, because everybody needed to wear one. But during the COVID years, I showed up and I interviewed local electeds and people in Brooklyn who were doing different things. And yeah, in those settings too, they were always so gracious and offering me masks. And then I was getting a little bit of exhausted of just the bullshit, that what I would do is I would get a little closer and they would go like this, get a little back. And then I'm like, but then I can't hear you very well with the microphone. And then you would get a little, like, they would just keep going back. Like, they kept respecting the social distance. They were that afraid. And I'm like, okay, I'm not going to mess with that person no more. And she is clearly visibly shaken, anxiety stricken. I read the room. I was like, I'm not I'm not, but people did mess around with folks who didn't want to wear the mask. And I dare say to all of you, mask free warriors, I salute you.
I
I
want to
give you
say something
hugs.
though. I remembered when it first happened, right? When it just started, right? This whole paranoia. I remember I said I'm going to go to the south side because in the south side there was Puerto Rican people, there's Hispanic people, and I said they're not going to go along with this. So when I went, I was right. Like the beginning of it, they were not masked, they were not following any of these rules in the beginning. And the north side would have like a lot of these white liberals and they would all be masked up. So I'm like, screw this. Like, I'm going to the south side. And in the beginning, there was none of that. And then as the fear came in, like literally a few weeks later, then they started being paranoid about it because they started brainwashing. But at first, I'm like, Latinos are never going to go along with this. I thought I could have sworn they would have never went along with this. But boy, I was wrong. But just in that first week, I was right. But then the fear kicked in. I don't know if you remember that.
Well, yeah, of course, because then, like, I was working with, and I was still interacting with the seniors from my previous job, and they were all upset because a lot of them felt deceived. They were told that if they accepted the vaccine, and then they can be in the recreation center and interact freely with all of the other seniors that took the jab, but they weren't. And I remember walking in to visit them, and they were all in little desk, 6 feet apart, wearing masks. It was the most depressing senior center I have ever experienced. In that setting, especially, right, having like 10 years going back and forth there, and the seniors were depressed, and not only that, they felt lied to. A lot of times, society, in this modern day society, we want to throw away the elders, we want to discount them because maybe their bodies are old and frail and they may need support, or maybe they're politically incorrect, but they're not stupid. They are books, they are walking legends, and we should learn, if we are truly wise, to honor and take care of them. And for those people who are in positions where you're thinking about the future and how to care for people, we need to learn how to take care of our elders, our living legends. And that to me is really important. As I'm going to be there soon, and I want to be able to enjoy the recreational center, not social distance, not with a complacent, obedient, say yes to technology, AI society that we see a lot of the some of the younger folks accept, along with not having or a practice in socializing. Makes me nervous for people as they get older, and what kind of caring is going to be supporting them. Are we going to have robots take care of us, or are they going to say, off with your heads, we need to euthanize all of these human beings right now and get rid of them? Because, I mean, it sounds like a terrible joke, but it's happening in places. And once you open the door to that kind of framework, other things get flexed, and you have a society that's broken, like the one we see right now, very like overly medicated, overly prescribed. And I'm not saying that with judgment. Sometimes we need medication, but my point is, can we and must we, if we want to live a more with more wellness in our lives? Some of you may or may not know this, but I cover some of the mayor's press conferences whenever I can. And you get to hear statistics as you're listening to all these people and all these, depending on the setting, you listen to whoever's giving you a report. And when they were giving the police report, they were saying that the majority of the calls that they're getting to 2311 are quality of life calls, are things happening in the home that are not feeling safe for people. Maybe somebody's fighting, maybe someone's not well, maybe they need a wellness check. We can't pretend this hitting all of our lives in some way. It is. Most people are suffering with something, with some sort of something they're carrying, and they're moving around their day pretending it doesn't exist. But we can't, because sooner or later this takes a toll. And I don't know, man. Maybe, I don't know. Just, I don't even know what to say.
I know what to say. Let's talk about death tax.
Oh, brother. More Mamdani sweet news.
Oh, fucking Mamdani strikes again. So here we go. I made a little art piece here. Generated an art piece. Zoranokio, the liar. I don't know if you guys can see it. Probably not. Can't see it here, but go check out my page on Instagram, Kosis Wellness on Instagram or X. And I wrote, Zoran is a commie. His new death tax is being called tax on the wealthy, but slashing New York's estate tax threshold from about 7 million down to just 750,000 tells us a very different story. In today's market, that doesn't just hit the rich. It hits everyday families trying to pass down a home, a small business, and generational savings. So basically, what's happening here is the communist hasn't gotten enough of your blood. He wants to raise property taxes. He literally said, raid the emergency savings. And now he's coming for your inheritance. So if your parents had a house or have a house and they happen to die and they pass it on to you in a will, before it wouldn't affect us because you would have like it would be like $7 million or above, right? You would get this estate tax. But now the communist biatch wants to lower it to 750,000, which is pretty much any home in New York. Even if you live in the Bronx or you could live in wherever, Staten Island, any remote areas in New York where, usually the house value is lower, because the farther you are away from transportation or to like areas where you can get to the city, usually it costs less, right? So even in faraway places like Jamaica, Queens, or South Bronx, most homes are going to be more than that, right? Most homes are going to be over that, way over that. So when he said tax the rich, he's a liar. That's why I drew that. He's a effing liar, because what communists do, they don't only attack the rich, they attack everybody. And they want you to suffer because they want you uncomfortable. And when you're uncomfortable, you can be controlled. When you're comfortable, you can say, screw you, I'm not following your orders, because you don't care. But when you're uncomfortable and you're dependent, then they could torture you. Then they can tell you what to do and you're going to listen. So that's why I hate communists. That's why I dislike Zoran Mamdani, the little 34-year-old who never held a job in his life. And he's smirking. That fucking smirk. I'm tired of his smirk. I'm tired of looking at his goofy face. You're not fooling anybody with that wicked smile. Okay? Zoran Mamdani is a commie. And I have idiots like getting mad at me all over the comment section. This one idiot told me that we can blame capitalism for all these problems. I'm like, listen, people die to come to this country. They're willing to risk their lives, crossing borders, willing to do anything to come to this country. This country is not perfect, but it's hands down the best country on the planet when it comes to opportunity. Okay? You can be literally dead broke. You can be raised in poverty, and I've seen people in poverty. I've went to school with people like this. Okay? Aviation high school. I have a friend who came from nothing, and right now he's built wealth. Why? Because he hustled his ass off. Why? Because he was a good person. He learned how to communicate and network with people, and he came from the worst place, and he's on top right now. Okay? And I've seen many, many examples of that. Like, if you guys want to take the story of Zoran Mamdani or Obama, if you take it for what it is, right? If let's say they weren't funded, right? If you're just saying from his skin color, and you could say he came from, a minority, and like he rose to the top, Not that I believe the story, but just giving you an example, just in case you believe these fairy tales. We have a president that was black. We have a mayor who's Mamdani. We have a dyslexic mayor, Eric Adams. He made it. He was dyslexic. All right. If you hustle and you kiss butt, I guess that's what they did. They kissed butt. I'm not telling you to kiss butt. But what I'm saying, man, is you could come from dirt nothing and you could fucking make it. You can buy yourself a home. My father, for instance, my father came dirt poor from Greece, 13 years old, and he was able to fucking buy a house. Dirt poor with nothing. So what I'm telling you is you come here with that American dream and it can happen if you hustle your ass off. Okay? If you're going to come here and will act pampered and you know what I mean? And you're going to just sit back, you're not going to get shit. You're going to get what you deserve. But if you hustle, you can fucking make it in this country. So whatever people say, it's bullshit. Communism will never give you that. This equality stuff, it's not going to work because you have to work hard to produce results. If it's just given to you, you're not going to get nothing. The point is, and we don't have perfect capitalism. I'm going to say, if we had perfect cap,
I don't know. Cozy's gonna say that
no,
it's the battery, but okay. You're back. I thought that you got kicked off again.
you got kicked off. I was here.
I got kicked off.
Yeah, we didn't see you for a while. And the last thing, I'm going to land my plane, but the last thing I want to say is then there's these corporate people. There's these corporate people who give out money to their friends and big banks and bail out banks. And, you know, that's the corporate welfare. These are the problems we have with America. Okay. So it's not perfect. But again, you have opportunity here. You won't get this in South Africa. I mean, South America. You're not going to get this in Africa. You're not going to get this in Europe. You're not going to get this in Asia. You're not going to get it. You're not going to get it in the Caribbean. You're going to get it in the United States. That's why people are willing to die to get here. So shut up to you commies, you stupid commies who keep telling me, what about the Nordic states? Shut the fuck up. Stop it. You were brainwashed in universities. You don't know what you're talking about. Grow the fuck up because there's a communist that has invaded your city and he's taken over and he wants you dirt poor. If you haven't realized that he's not coming for the rich, he's coming for your dumb ass.
Yeah, let's talk about it. I don't think we're gonna get free buses when we are. Yeah. This whole, and then when he presented his budget and he was talking about we have a deficit. We're trending with a very like billions of dollars in deficit. Oh, where could we maybe pull some of the money from? And he's looking at potentially pulling money from where you should never pull money from, which is retirement savings.
Yeah, fuck off, dick face.
Oh yeah, the more you curse, the harder it is for us to share the show.
Sorry, I get emotional about this. I'll stop. But he is what he is. He's a Pinocchio face. Okay, I'll use that. The Pinocchio face. Listen, I'm gonna say it again and again, just in case this thing slips into somebody's brain. He wants to raise property taxes. It's not gonna only affect homeowners. What it's going to affect is gonna raise your rents. Wake up. Are you stupid? Do some math. When you raise property taxes, okay, on a homeowner, do you think he's going to say, I'm going to just take the hit and I'm going to lose all my money and my investment? No, he's going to say, I'm going to pass it on to this schmuck. And he's going to look at you and your rent is what? Let's say 2,000 right now. He's going to say, you know what? They hit me with a 9% increase. I'm going to raise yours by 9%. Actually, I'll raise it by 12% just to give me some cushion. And you're going to pay, I guarantee you, listening to me right now, your rent next year is going to be $3,000. If you're paying $2,000, your rent's going to be $3,000. I predicted it, and you're going to cry. You're going to cry because you voted this guy in. You voted him in. You're praising him like he's a hero. He's not a hero. He's a zero. He's a commie. He's a dirty commie. And guess what? He's not coming for the rich. He's coming for your broke ass. Yeah, your broke ass who voted for him. He's coming for your dumb ass. Yeah, that's what he's doing.
So in Manhattan, the average rent swings between 4,000 and 5,000.
You said 3,000 to 5,000?
No, 4 to 5.
4 to 5. It's true. It's absolutely true.
And look, like the latest, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Oh wait, look at that.
And I'm just talking
Lying?
about
No, lying. Okay, because I'm not thinking about inflation. In July 2025, the average rent in New York City was 4,000 per month.
yeah. She's talking about
In
Manhattan.
2026, I'm talking about Manhattan. In 2026, the average rent per month for an apartment, according to Rent Cafe, is 5,524 per month.
Yeah, and these are the people who are a little more affluent. Like if you're middle class, that's what you're paying.
And that's
If you're
for
living,
one bedroom apartment.
but if you're in the outskirts, if you're like in some areas of Queens, Bronx, most people I know, they're paying about $2,000, right? That's the average, right, guys out there? $2,000 is usually the price, and then it's getting higher. So that's why I
Okay.
was focusing on 2,000. But if you're in the city,
No, but
yeah.
check this out. Oh, it says neighborhood variations. Or maybe they're just focusing in New York City over here in this example, but Washington Heights is lower. So it says 2,700. Harlem
that's for
30. So yeah, that's still Manhattan. So yeah, in Queens, you were able, I believe like in Williamsburg, it might be 3-ish, 2-ish, depending on, what you can score. But yeah, like you really need to make a lot of money to be able to live here in
live with seven
Manhattan.
people.
Yeah,
with
and a lot of students
expenses.
that's the way they're living. So imagine what's holistic about that. For a young person, it could be just a season of your life, but if you're really trying to be living a grown up lifestyle, and you have to come home and share your space with 7 other people in order to be able to live in New York City, for example, after a while, that type of lifestyle becomes taxing, because how your home is, if your home is very, feels good and safe and like a homely, but if you're coming home, like I've met many people who go home and they don't know if they're going home to a party, or somebody who is strung out on drugs, or somebody that they have to rescue.
We're not in good shape here, people.
No, we're not.
And the reason is because we have people who've moved here from other states and came here 20 years old, brainwashed from universities, and they're pushing communism. And they'll correct you quickly. It's not communism, it's democratic socialism. Whatever you want to call it, it's communism. Okay? That's where it's going to lead to. And your mayor said it, seizing the means of production. Look it up. That's a Marxist. That comes straight from their holy book, Karl Marx, the Communist Manifesto. That's where it comes from. Okay. And then he hired this Sia Weaver who looks mentally ill. Sia Weaver, mentally ill. She looks pale as hell. She looks pale like she needs iron. She looks pale like she needs something. She needs vitality. Okay. And she comes here and tells people she hates private property. She wants to take it away. These people hate you. They hate that you have anything. They hate that you have possessions. Then you have the World Economic Forum that tells you you will own nothing and be happy. These are the same people. Don't get it confused. The same people who funded everything that the the World Economic Forum has done to you during the COVID and this great reset. This is part of it. Mamdani is part of it. That's who I don't have proof of it, but I can tell you because my spirit knows things, and I know that they funded this schmuck. I know that that's their little boy. That's their little boy. I guarantee you they funded him without knowing. Without knowing. I don't have proof of it, but I have spiritual proof. I have intelligent proof. I know. I just know. He was funded, he's been groomed, and he's here to take away all your possessions.
Well,
Now you
and right, and make us more uncomfortable, because let's talk about a couple of more things as we start winding down. And these are just quick ones, right? Mamdani, what does he want to do? Because, right, they have to find money now. And where are they going to find money? They're going to find more ways to make the working class people uncomfortable,
Shake it
even though they
down.
will never, ever, ever put it like that. So one of the things that they're looking at is, well, there's parking space in New York City. Maybe we should just make that for payment, so we could raise some money, make people pay more, right? Who does that affect? Not the people with the monies, the people who have cars that are barely finding and having to circle around for hours just to find a freaking parking spot, because if it's not taken up by a shitty bike rack or a zip car or the spaces or these multiple pumps that or signs that just make no sense sometimes in blocks. Number one. Number two, today I saw as of March 2026, Mayor Zoran Mamdani has announced a major expansion of the law committing to implement 15 miles per hour slow zones directly outside more than 800 New York City schools by the end of the year. The goal is to extend this to all eligible school locations across the city by the end of Mamdani's first term. The initiative follows a 60-day public comment period with local community boards before implementation. So yeah, it's part of the broader effort to reduce traffic violence, with data showing that a pedestrian hit by a car traveling at 25 miles per hour is 3 times more likely to be seriously injured than one at 15 miles per hour.
Maybe if they get off their text messages while they're walking, they won't get hit by a bike or a car.
And so, do you know, so then, okay, so they position, what's the good reason? Then I'm thinking, I'm like, great. We already have so much traffic in the residential areas. Congestion pricing has created more congestion in residential areas. Now there's going to be a slowing up. So add more time, folks, to your travel as this happens. Yeah, and then the other thing.
Good point, Rosangel. I didn't even catch that, right? So you're like, when you said slowing down, yeah, like I didn't even think about that. But like you're right, it's going to affect travel, because if people are slowing down, it's not about just you slowing down, it's you're slowing down traffic. So we've already seen the traffic horrendous because they've shut down literally lanes. They made bus lanes, like here in Astoria on 21st Street. When you go down this long street, you used to be able to drive by quick, and now there's so much traffic because they have 2 bus lanes and there's only 1 car lane, and the traffic is so annoying that people are stopping, like they're refusing to drive, and that's what they wanted. But now that you're
And
adding
that's how
this
they win.
15 mile per hour, good point. Now it's going to slow down even more, and then people are going to say, fuck this, it's going to take me forever to get from point A to point B. I'll rather take a little G bike.
And not only that, right? Bike. So they have the bike lanes, and then they put on these big, like either rocks or like potted plant things. And what was happening during the snow, or if an emergency vehicle needs to turn onto those places, literally there's news, and I would love, maybe if we have Joanna Ariola back, we could ask her about it. But literally emergency vehicles trying to get and make the turn, and they can't, because the wokey pokies who love bike lanes in the city and want to expand the green, climate change, climate justice, you're not thinking about the reality of everyday people in New York. It's kind of almost like they're catering the New York to the folks that kind of voted for Mamdani. Kind of 50% of those human beings have been in New York, a large percentage of them less than 5 years, and a whole bunch of students. So immigrants, folks who are transplants, and students, young people who don't really understand that Mamdani fooled them all.
Yeah, and the sad thing is they're probably never going to blame him, because they're not going to understand, they're not going to put 2 and 2 together. They're probably going to blame the next person for this guy's failures, because he's going to fail. It's 1,000% chance that he's going to fail. 1,000%. I put money on it. I would bet anybody. I'll put a house down to tell you that this guy is going to fail epically. Epically.
So one more story. We went a little long, guys, but we were away for 2 weeks, and there's so much to cover. And our focus is New York. Did you know about this? New York State is advancing legislation to significantly reduce artificial nighttime lighting, primarily to protect migratory birds, to reduce light pollution, and conserve energy.
Wow.
Yes. So key provisions include shielding all outdoor lights to prevent outward light spill. Exemptions for essential lighting would include emergency services, worker safety, airport navigation, or low wattage fixtures, motion activated or time controlled lighting for non essential fixtures, and exemptions for outdoor recreation facilities.
Wait,
Pretty much. Huh?
so are you telling me that they're going to start telling us that we can't use lights? Another little restriction here?
This says, oh, well, okay. New York State, it says the bill is primarily to protect migratory birds, but the most prominent bill is Senate Bill 2025 S7663, known as the Dark Skies Protection Act.
Beautiful. So
I don't
they
need that.
wanna
I feel
protect
weird
birds.
about that. It was like, which aims to regulate outdoor lighting across the state. If enacted, it would require all outdoor lighting fixtures at residential, commercial, industrial, I don't even know how to speak, industrial and municipal buildings to be shielded by January 1st, 2028, and mandate that non-essential outdoor lighting be turned off between 11 p.m. and 5
Nah,
p.m.
bro. Nah. Listen, these people,
Mm,
it sounds nice.
yo.
It sounds cute. It sounds nice. We care about the birds. Since when do you guys care about the birds? You don't care about the birds. You want to tell us to shut off our lights. Then you're going to tell us to shut off this and that. I don't like it. I don't like restrictions.
To
If I want
conserve
to shut my
energy.
light, if I want to
Could
shut my light, I'll shut my light. You
could
don't
this
tell
be
me to shut
because
my light.
Cozy, here's my conspiracy brain. Could this be because Wokey Pokies have been pushing the initiative that, we need more to convert into to electricity, right? So like how you were saying, you were describing how, like, if a landlord is, has to do all these charges, who's gonna pay for it, right?
Yeah.
The renter. Just like when there are demands placed on buildings like, hey, oh no, you guys are so outdated. This is a gas only building. You need to upgrade
This
to
is
just
exactly what it's
pure
about.
electricity. What happens there? That means the entire building has to be regutted in terms of internal, so that the structure that was just accommodating for gas pipes now has to accommodate for the electricity. So that means the entire building needs to work over so that the right pipes and situation gets installed, and then they install unit per unit. How much do you think that costs a landlord? That's like a lot of money. Who do you think is going to pay for it? Yeah, the renters. But here's what's happening, right? A lot of people are complaining that their electricity isn't as strong as it used to be. Some people are saying, oh wow, sometimes I charge and I can charge my phone so fast. On other days, it seems like I'm just waiting much longer. And some people, can see the pulling of the energy, like, oh, there's no storm. How come I seem like I'm kind of losing my light? So I don't know. I just see a big mess unfolding before our eyes. I'm trying not to be so pessimistic.
Could you imagine telling Thomas Jefferson that he has to shut off his lights at a certain time, or that he can only drive 15 miles per hour, or that he has to wear a mask, or that he has to take a vaccine? You revolutionaries out there, what happened to you? What happened to your ancestors? They're ashamed of you. Fight back. Don't let people restrict your travel. Don't let them restrict when you can turn on a lighter, because that's what it's going to come down. 10 o'clock curfew, shut off your light. You're not my mom. You're not my dad.
And don't speak too loud because we could hear you across the street. Did somebody
I
laugh?
don't like this.
Oh, and we're gonna go and knock into your building because we heard some laughter. Look, it's not, I know that it sounds ridiculous, but during COVID, I don't know if you remember some of the stories. I have a good memory because I covered so many of them. People were being encouraged not to sing.
Yeah, don't sing.
They were, because they were, COVID particles might fly out and you might hit somebody 6 feet away from you. Don't
Your
laugh.
ancestors are
You
crying.
might
Your
spit.
ancestors are crying for you. They're
They
crying.
must be
They're
like, what
embarrassed.
happened to our humans?
Yeah, they risk their lives for you, and this is what you do. You obey. You obey these
Little
punks.
sheep.
I look at my ancestors from Greece and say, wow, they would be ashamed. They would be ashamed of the society. Like, wow, we fought with swords, man, to fight different people.
You know
They
how
were
many
outnumbered. They were
you know how
outnumbered.
many of the
Fast.
ancestors are giving chancletazos to people from the
Yeah.
you know, the ones. Oh,
Yeah. What about the slaves?
wake the
There
heck
was
up.
slave rebellions in the Caribbean who lost everything, and they fought back with stones and sticks, and like they fought back and defeated their slave masters. So you can be free. So they can be free, and their kids can be free. And now they're looking at the society and saying, "Wow,
Hmm.
you punks are obeying these weak men, these weak women and men. Stand up for yourself.
Stand up
Respect
for
yourself.
yourself.
Respect yourself."
And we're all needed together. Stop this tremendo bullshit. Stop believing that
If
other
I was
human
a
beings are
driver,
your.
if I was a driver, I would make sure I go over that 15 mile per hour speed limit. I would go over it just to piss you off.
Oh my God, but it's during the school zone, so I don't even know what those tickets look like because
It
that's the
starts
thing.
there. It starts
But
there.
could you imagine? So who's gonna know that this passed really? And they're driving whatever their regular speed is. Oh, another opportunity to give you a ticket. You see, I just it's hard for me not to think like this.
That's
Like
exactly what it is.
what are the opportunities to charge New Yorkers? They're just gonna keep giving New Yorkers more rules that we don't know about. Like when I was in a car and I had no idea there was a new seatbelt something rule, and next thing you know, the car's getting a ticket. Like what the heck?
A grown man in the back, or fucking grown, sorry,
I'm
grown
a
adults,
baby.
grown adults. You need a seatbelt. Who the hell are you? You care about my life all
Oh
of a
my
sudden?
God.
And exactly, it's that because they're gonna put their silly little cameras and they're gonna be like, "Oh, you went 16 miles per hour. You're getting a $200
And we
ticket."
caught a picture of the 5 of you in the car. Oh, that one didn't have a seatbelt. That one looked like she was having too
I'm
much
just
fun.
tired of this world, man.
No, yeah, but we are just creating because everybody's so bored. We're just creating like a surveillance. I'm walking into it freely society. And yes, we will talk about that in other shows. Just these AI cafes. I think that I might want to go visit an AI cafe in the city. Might just be one of my to-dos. But I don't have an AI companion. I don't know if I need one. I don't want one.
Hey, what do you have to do?
But
You go
I
there to sit down by yourself, and then you have an AI companion.
yeah, you talk to your AI buddy, your companion,
You
and
know what's
whisper
coming
sweet
next.
nothings as the person drinks whatever they're drinking, and maybe they're pretend drinking something in the screen. I don't know. I don't know how that works.
I know what's coming next. Listen, I'm glad I'm almost 50 years old. I'm glad that, maybe I have 20 more years left in this life because I would hate to start over. I would really hate to start over. Like, I feel bad for these kids. They're going to see a lot of shit. They're going to see a lot of control. I don't want to be controlled.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be controlled. So I'm almost 50. Let's say I'm going to live till what, 70, 80?
Some people are living a lot longer than that.
I could
There's
live a lot
plenty
longer,
of
but
people living past
I don't
100.
know. Do I want to live at 100? Probably not. Listen, I don't want to see any more of this. I don't want to see any more of this. This is terrible.
Look, I
No,
just
I don't
gotta
want to
say,
commit. I don't like, I love myself. Just putting it out there. Just in
just
case.
I want to go to the planet of happiness
Yeah, we'll be there.
and lots of like barbecue, grilled
Let's have
chicken,
fun. All right, let's think
Robert's
positive.
Bar,
All right, we got to leave it on a positive
bar
note.
and
Listen,
chips,
it's all about what we think. If
and
we
the
keep
happy hour
watching,
gang.
if we keep
Well,
paying
listen,
attention. Uh-oh, we lost her. Uh-oh. Oh, it says we're offline. I don't know if I'm
host
on. Are
events.
we on? I don't know if we went
Yeah,
on and
yeah.
off.
Yeah, I don't know. We've been having
You were
technical
off.
issues. But what I would like to say as we wind down the show is this is why we do MAFA stuff, right? Make America Fun Again, which is
Have fun.
Mark's thing. And we host happy hours at a Brooklyn restaurant. And we do it old school. That's exactly why it's cheesy and old school. An analog speaker, little microphone.
Mhm.
Some people make requests. Can you play this song? Okay. Old
That's
school.
right.
And we
Grand
have
Morello.
fun. And we have
That's
fun.
cool.
And statistically, it shows that people gathering together, having fun, laughing, and if we boost it up and we include dancing in it, it just it's just a happier, healthier lifestyle. So let's just have more of that in our lives. Cozy, anything you'd like to add or wanna?
Yeah, I just want to add that, yeah, enjoy your life, people. If we keep looking at the media and we keep looking at social media, we're gonna think that everything's bad. It's not all bad. I wanna just put it out there. I know I was complaining and all this stuff, all this new world order stuff. It's all terrible. It's all terrible. But there is beauty. There's beauty when you look at your child, you look at their eyes, you look at them growing up, you look at your grandparents, you look at people you love and your friends, and you have fun, and make sure to laugh, and make sure you spend time in nature. I can't say that more enough, and I'm saying that to remind myself to go be in nature, because it's hard, right? When you're in New York City, there's not a lot of nature, but there's always parks, there's always rivers that you can just look at and you feel much better. The weather hopefully is going to get better very soon, and I'm going to be spending more time outdoors, and I encourage you all to do the same. Look at the sun. They tell you not to look at the sun. Look at the sun. Okay, look at the sun. It's good for you. Uh, do the opposite of what they tell you, and you'll be fine. Enjoy your life.
Enjoy, yes. Enjoy. And I feel excited to be sharing happy hours with the community and with my sister, well, us as well. We love that. And I'm also excited to hopefully share some meditation with folks. I like to do a little sound healing and add movement into it, and just add more of that holistic into your life. Thank you, everyone. The last thing I'd share as my wind down comment is the Perez Sisters of Cafecito Break recently celebrated another anniversary, which was March 8th. So 14 years.
Congratulations.
Yay.
Congratulations. People, donate Cavacito Break. Support independent media. You know, she should be recognized. Help out. This is what she does. This is what she enjoys doing, and she does great. And she gives you guys laughter. She gives you entertainment, and they update you, and they do it in a very, very nice way. Okay, so donate. Show them where you can donate.
Oh yeah, cafecitobreak.org. Thank you, Cozy. I love that. Yeah, we have a GoFundMe too. If you go on GoFundMe, you want to donate specifically, that's to support us, our news reports. All of this takes time, hours and hours. And we do a little cafecito break every single day because why? This is important. Sharing news is important. And when you see that there's a hole and the mainstream or the new corporate media and the way they spin and tell stories, we find that it is valuable and crucial to be sharing our insights, especially when we are fortunate enough to be so close to certain stories that we share with you. So thank you for all of you who have supported Cafecito Break in any way, with a like, a share, a nod, buying some of our merch. If you visit cafecitobreak.org, you could find our merch shop and support us that way too. Or you could send us a Venmo donation. However you want to honor our 14 years, we will say yes. And thank you. And let's have mucho más. We hope to see you at a future event, whether it's an event for medical freedom or a happy hour. I love you guys. Thank you for being with us again.
Shout out to Robert. Shout out to Patty. Thank you guys. Olivia, everybody watching. We appreciate you. Thank you for all the feedback. We do see your comments. Sometimes I can't talk because we're talking here, but I do see your comments. Thank you so much. Jasenia, and everybody that jumped on. Thank you. Please share and let people know.
Yes. And let me see if there's a little video that I could wrap out with. Mamore, if I find a little video of my sister and I.
Zoran, you piece of...
Dios mío.
Hands
All
off.
right. I'm going to end with a little video. You guys have seen this before, but this is to celebrate the Perez sisters, and our birthday. Thank you, everyone. We'll see you next Monday, 8 p.m. Remember, if you don't see us live on an 8 p.m., hopefully something didn't go wrong. Hopefully it's just that work took us away from that slot. But please know that you guys are important to us. This time slot is important to us. It is our intention to be here and to show up. And this is the time that we've carved out in our lives to show up. But if we're not here, it's because something took us away from this commitment. Just know that you are important in our lives. And thank you, everyone. Be safe out there. Love you. See you next week. And if you celebrate St. Patrick's Day, enjoy. I'm going to leave you with this. The Perez sisters, make it unforgettable. We love you.
Bendiciones, familia.
Vive tu música y no lo olvides. No, no te